Well, Mark Twain said it, right? In order to make a man covet a thing, it's only necessary to make that thing difficult to attain.
Ooh, yeah. That's good. That is good.
Lots of women say that they have a difficult time trusting themselves around men. Between fear of rejection and intimacy and sex questions, it's just really hard. So what can we do to help women learn to trust themselves around men?
You know, there are so many things that women can do to build trust within themselves, starting with really trusting their gut. You know how you have that women's intuition? The best thing to do is just to follow it, to ask questions. If you're not feeling like something's right, ask questions to get clarity. Make sure that you're getting some light shed on what are these feelings actually meaning for you. And then the other thing is really assess the situation. You don't want to get overly invested without really seeing, is there some mutual reciprocity here? Sometimes women are, they're so giving and they're so loving that they are overly invested before they really realize, is the other person really giving back to me? Is this guy really into me as much as I'm thinking he is?
In our media today, there's so many messages that are being sent to women about you should look like this, or you should do that, or you should do this. And then a woman looks at herself in the mirror and says, well, I'm not that. Mm-hmm. So I'm not trusting myself. Mm-hmm. So it starts to build this external thing. And I like to tell my clients to get a support system of people who are going to tell you the truth. Mm-hmm. That you trust and will tell you the truth. Yeah. And then bounce this stuff off them and help them to do a reality check with you.
For me also, it's knowing what your deal breakers are. Mm-hmm. What's really important to you that's going to make or break the relationship, and what's not? What are those petty little things that you can live with even if you don't love them? And if you know what your deal breakers are, then that's your measuring stick. When you get there, you know to say no, so you can trust yourself that you're not going to just go with what the other partner wants. Mm-hmm. You're going to know what you want, and if it is a deal breaker, that may be the end of the deal.
You have to be sure that when you're falling in love, you're not the only one falling, right? Otherwise, you're dead.
Yeah.
And I think, especially with new relationships, women really invest emotionally much earlier than men tend to, and as a result, they end up kind of dismissing a lot of the red flags, either on purpose or subconsciously.
Do you think that women have trouble like trying to please too much in this scenario? Like, you know, I'm interested in you, and so I'm going to be everything you want me to be, and so that I get something back from you. Do you think that's part of this problem?
I think that's part of it for sure, and also that women aren't waiting long enough to show the guy's true intentions. You aren't going to know what he's really wanting yet. He's going to show that over time. Like,
how long does it take?
Well, I don't know. It depends on where you met him and what he wants, right? Online dating has fundamentally changed all these dynamics, though.
Because it happens so quickly.
Oh, yes.
And one of the things that I tell my women client is do not tell him you love him. Don't say it. Let him say it first. It's hard to hear it, but time after time, I have so much success with the woman saying, I am so glad I waited, just like what you were saying.
Well, Mark Twain said it, right? In order to make a man covet a thing, it's only necessary to make that thing difficult to attain.
Ooh, that's good. That is good.
Well, without a chase, what's he going to do? If a woman flips over with her legs in the air, then there's no challenge, right? Like, what are we doing here? So, as from a primal standpoint, a guy is looking to try to attain something that he can't necessarily get. And women have made themselves very available, including with online dating. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a predatory environment where a guy can swoop in, send 50 messages out to 50 different women and work the volume angle. One responds, it's a good day.
And also, it's not just about getting a guy or a girl, in either case, but it's about getting a life. And when you have a life that you love, then people show up that are a fit with that life. And then you can trust yourself more and you can trust them more.
So I'm a client and I come to see you and I have no idea who I am, what I want, and where I'm going. Would you tell me not to date?
I would tell you to readjust your expectations on what dating means. If you're looking for an established relationship, that by itself is wrong. Because when you look for a relationship, you're going to start making a lot of allowances and dismissing a lot of the red flags because you just want to be in one.
Right.
So when you start looking for love is when the wrong kind of love finds you. When you start looking and embracing life, that's when the right love appears. So you can't just, you can't look for what's there. It will find you once you invest in yourself.
I would tell you to get very clear about what you want and to also match it up. Okay, this is the type of guy that I'm looking for. So am I these things? you know, because you really have to become what you're looking for.
And I also tell my clients to do the things that are fun for them, because that's where they're gonna meet the guys who also like to do those things.
That's
So
right.
you might start as a fun group kind of situation, and then
Yeah.
you gravitate together, and then you date.
And I would definitely tell you to not date until
Thank you for saying that.
I would until you clarified your values.
Yeah.
You know what you value.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I would send you out to practice. You're not dating, you're practicing. And we talk about the criteria for practice, and then have you do that.
So it sounds like for women to be able to learn to trust themselves in new relationships, they first have to know themselves. And once they know themselves, then they can set realistic expectations for what they want and then cultivate the life that they would like, then attract the right person. Sounds like a pretty good formula.